What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka All Fires. Guys, I apologize. I am severely under the weather. I took a COVID test yesterday and it came up negative, thank God. However, I probably have the flu. So I know I sound a little bit weird. It's really hard for me to make it through one of these 8 or 10 minute videos without coughing. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But we have to talk about last night's finale of Hawkeye. I saw so many people upset in chat at the watch party or DMing me this morning thinking that Wilson Fisk got killed off as soon as they brought Vincent D'Onofrio back. I am 100% confirming that Kingpin is not dead, and in fact, if they stick to the comics just a little bit, we know exactly what happened to Wilson Fisk off screen and what's going to happen to him in the future of the MCU. So we're breaking down everything Kingpin, and of course, the reveal at the end of the episode, Clint Barton's wife's tied to that watch, a retired S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and a named one at that. We're breaking down the huge reveals yesterday in Hawkeye, but first, if you could consider hitting the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at this channel, and that's all we do. Everything from official Easter egg breakdowns, interviews, and recaps like we're doing today, all the way to the anonymous 4chan plot leaks, industry insider reveals, and everything in between. So, if that sort of thing's for you, consider hitting the subscribe button, leaving a comment down below. That'll automatically enter you to win all of the giveaways, like the PlayStation 5 giveaway. If you want to be entered to win, again, all you have to do, sub button, leave a comment. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So of course, they did not beat around the bush. They opened up last night's episode immediately with Kingpin interacting with Eleanor, and I loved that. That was great that we were waiting for him and it wasn't some cameo at the end of the episode, but it's the end of the episode that had people so upset. Now, in case you got lost in what was going on in the storyline here, because yes, there were a lot of threads that all of a sudden were being tied up super quickly, Maya basically realizes Kingpin is responsible for her father's death, ultimately, even though he raised her, and that's where the awkward I love you comes from the beginning of the episode. And here at the end of the episode, when she raises the gun and they scroll off screen, we know presumably she shot him point blank in the face, causing everybody, and rightfully so, to wonder, did they just kill off Kingpin as soon as they introduced him to the MCU? And no, they did not. Remember, earlier in the episode, they made sure to show us him surviving being hit by a car, close proximity to explosives, and taking an arrow point blank. Kingpin is a very strong villain, yes, not on the level of Doctor Doom, Thanos, Magneto, Galactus, something like that, but a very strong villain. He has taken a lot of damage in the comics and survived, and in fact, in one comic particular, was shot point blank in the face by Echo. The Daredevil run by David Mack in 1998, books 11 through 13, shout out to a member of the community of Gents and Demons for pointing this out, was shot point blank in the face by Echo, ended up going temporarily blind, but then gets his eyesight back during Daredevil number 50, written by Brian Michael Bendis, revealing to Matt Murdock that he had reconstructive surgery on his eyes. So this has already happened in the comics and is probably going to happen again. They wouldn't bring back Vincent D'Onofrio's character just to kill him off in his very first appearance in the MCU, and following the comic line where Echo goes for retribution in this exact same instance and shoots him point blank, they'll probably follow that, something similar. He'll lose his eyesight in a way that will be sort of a mirror arc to Daredevil, and you can assume that going forward into the MCU, Kingpin will be sticking around. He's taken a lot of damage in the comics, and I know, guys, I know, a point-blank shot to the face, how could he survive? People actually have survived gunshots like that in real life, and remember, he's a supervillain. He took a ton of damage during this episode, and this plays right in line with the comics. So suspect we will see Kingpin in the future. It's going to play out exactly like it did in the comics. He's going to lose his eyesight, and maybe will be a scarred version of himself when we see him later down the road in the upcoming Echo series and or Daredevil, wherever he should show up next. And who knows, this scarring may lead to a more comic book accurate portrayal of the character if he, when losing his eyesight, decides that all he's going to do is work out. Now, the other huge reveal from this episode was, of course, Laura Barton being revealed as Agent 19, Mockingbird, a retired S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and the reason that Clint Barton had to secure that Rolex was it was tied to his wife's identity, and he wanted to make sure that all loose ends were tied up. That's why she was interested in the first place. Her being Mockingbird makes sense. She was married to Clint in the comics, but of course, this does one of two things. It either means that Palicki's character, the actress who played Mockingbird on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., one of two things happens here. Either she picks up the moniker after Laura Barton retires, just, Agent 19 reappropriated like 007, she was Mockingbird and now she becomes Mockingbird, or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. just isn't canon. Which, guys, let's be real here. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not canon. There was this huge thing earlier in the year, if you remember, that something about one of the people who made a book was interviewed, one of the higher-ups, a quote was misconstrued, and all of a sudden people were saying Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon. I think it's one of those things where the loose continuity that exists in any of the Marvel programming before this all-in inclusion of these characters is just lost by the wayside. I think it's pretty certain that, you know, some people are always going to say Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon because of Coulson's inclusion. There were other slight references to the MCU back and forth, but the reality is that I think this character being Mockingbird is the least of the what's going on with variants. We still have bigger questions to ask, whether or not this Kingpin we just saw is the Kingpin we saw from the Netflix shows, whether or not Matt Murdock we were just introduced to in Spider-Man No Way Home is the Matt Murdock we followed throughout the Netflix shows. I think this is going to be okay. It was a nice little twist and reveal. It also makes a lot of sense why Laura Barton was always understanding of Clint Barton's necessity to be Hawkeye, to finish missions even when it was detrimental to their family, why she was okay with being on a hideout farm, all the things that go in with that, because she was a retired S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, because she knew the job and she knew it firsthand, and it makes a lot of sense. But one final thought I want to leave you with as we push on further now into more Disney Plus shows, just reflecting on this series. I think this was one of the better Disney Plus series, maybe even second or third on the list this year, but man, they have got to work out the pacing issue. At certain times through this episode, it felt like it was extremely disjointed. I think Act 1 and 2 were succinct, but somewhere in the middle of Act 2, this episode fell off the rails at the end, and the episode picked up running, but then couldn't find its destination, while the other 5 episodes seemed like they were perfectly matched. So here's my suggestion in retrospect. I don't know if Marvel's ever going to hear this. I think instead of running 2 episodes out at the beginning of a series, they should run the second to finale, like the penultimate and the finale at the same time. Because I think the pacing for some of these finale episodes, the pacing in this reminded me of the pacing of Falcon and Winter Soldier, where we hit the ground running, but then had to make up for like a weird lull in the middle or beginning of the episode or the beginning of the third act. And I don't know, maybe you guys felt the same way. Maybe I'm nitpicking. I absolutely love these series. I just thought that the finale was one of the weaker episodes, which is not really what you want. Let me know all your thoughts down below quickly. Let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. Alright, we're still giving away a PlayStation 5, and we're doing it now at every 20,000 subscribers, all the way up to 1 million. And we're almost at the next one. So if you want to be entered to win or for any of the future giveaways, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber at the channel, then leave a comment down below, and because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be announced at the end of videos the same way I'm doing here. The best way to keep up with the content has always been to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on, and as always, if you liked today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. You can also find me on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon, Apple, iTunes, wherever you listen to original music under the name All Fires. I would sincerely appreciate you checking that out. In the meantime, thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.